A lot can happen in a week. And City fans, we found that out when this week our club legend, my favourite player, Sergio Aguero, announced that he will leave the club at the end of the season. Pep has described him as irreplaceable. I'm absolutely gutted, but today we will celebrate and pay homage to a player who's possibly done more for this club than all before him, especially that goal. And then also, of course, we do have a cheeky Premier League match to play again today against high-flying and free-scoring Leicester City at the King Power. And it is going to be an excellent show. Yes, an excellent show. You like that one, everybody, don't you? Now, obviously, I've been absolutely gutted all week long. I've not been able to pick myself up. So today, we had to get in two of the funniest, happiest ex-players that I could possibly think of to try and cheer me up. And I'm sure that you are all feeling the same at home as well. So, of course, we phoned up Shaun and Julian Lescott to ask them to come and cheer us all up. And we're going to be talking a lot about Sergio today. You're going to enjoy it. We're going to be looking back at some of his best moments. We've all picked one of our best moments for him, and we're going to be sharing those with you, and of course asking you to share yours with us as well. But it is, of course, the start of the show, which means we tell you the team news for today. And after the internationals and so many of our players playing so many games in the last 2 weeks, this is going to be an interesting one. So our starting 11 for today's game against Leicester City looks like this. So in goal today is Ederson. And then we've got Walker, Diaz, Laporte, and Benjamin Mendy gets a start. And then looking at midfield, we've got Rodri, Fernandinho, Kevin De Bruyne, Riyad Mahrez, and then up front we've got Gabriel Jesus and Sergio Aguero starts. And then onto the bench, it's Carson, Stones, Ake, Cancelo, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, Torres and Sterling. So that is our team for today. So, of course, with it being the international break, the team is always going to be a bit intriguing after that. So many of our players played 3 games in 6 days. If you're wondering who, I wrote them down. So Gundogan, Diaz, Sterling, Foden, Cancelo, Silva and Zinchenko all played 3 international games in 6 days. Only one of them gets a start today, and that is, of course, Ruben Diaz. So, Joleon, straight to you. Were you expecting that with so many of the players playing so many games?
Yeah, it makes sense. We're still in all the competitions, so the rotation was going to be obvious. It's probably that's a time or a fixture that you can predict most of the players due to that that incident of them playing away in the international, but again, it's still a very strong team. There's no weak links in there. It's surprising to see Rodri and Fernandinho both holding midfielders naturally. So to see that might be a tweak to the formation, but again, there's no weak links in that team.
And of course, what stands out right there for all of us, Shaun, is that Sergio Aguero starts today. We're not going to see him for too much longer. We're going to talk a lot about it. We're going to hold back the tears. So how happy are you to be able to see him starting today?
I am. I'm very pleased. I myself needed a few days to pick myself up upon hearing that news, because we all know what a great play has been for the club, and we want to see that continue with the remainder of the season. So I had to sort of have my period of thinking, we'll no longer have Sergio Aguero next season. So I'm glad to see that he's starting. I'm intrigued because I think Jesus will actually play wide, because what we know of Pep is he tends to play a certain system, and pretty much 3 up top. So I would imagine Jesus will be at wide. But I'm just pleased that Aguero's on, and I think everybody will be hoping he has a couple of chances.
Yeah, absolutely. The more he clocks up before the end, the better for me. Mahrez has really made that kind of right side his own this season. I mean, for me, he's been one of our players of the season by a mile. Do you think Jesus then might fit in down the left side, Shaun, or what do you think?
Well, yeah, I think certainly Jesus to be on the left side, because Mahrez being left-footed, he likes him to be on that right side. He's absolute quality. He moves. He's so deceiving. I mean, Julian could probably speak to it more, but he's an attacker. As a defender defending him, for me, he doesn't look like he moves the ball ever so quickly, but he does he does a disguise that defenders fall for. He fakes the cross, he cuts, and they can't read it. And I find myself falling for it watching him.
But that is what it is. It's his cross and his fake cross is the same motion, the same technique. So you have to go to block it. Yeah. But at the last moment, he can then read you blocking it and then chop inside. So it's so smooth and they're so identical, the two elements to his game. It's ridiculous, but he's so smooth in how he moves it, and he moves it just enough so you have to adjust your body position, which means then he can move it back, and then you have to move it back. But it's easier said to recognise than actually stop.
And of course, we've got the Champions League game Tuesday night, so it's quite a quick turnaround after this game, and we know how big the Champions League game is. Of course, Pep would say, and as he always does, Leicester's the next game, we're only thinking about the next game. But do you think selection is in his mind for that game, looking at this team?
I honestly don't, to be honest. I think his selection was based on who is going to be the freshest going into this game, and then that equates to having Gundogan, Sterling, Phil Foden potentially being fresh and rested for up to a week for the Champions League game. So when he says we're focusing on the next game, I genuinely believe that's what they're doing.
I wanted to ask you about John Stones as well. Obviously, he's on the bench today. He had that mistake midweek with England. He recovered, obviously, and set up the, assisted for the next goal. In terms of yourself, not saying you ever made any mistakes, Joleon.
I've been there.
How do you think he'll be feeling now? How will he recover?
He'll probably be disappointed he hasn't getting the chance to play today, but it's not down to that mistake. It's down to the fact that he's played so many games. But yeah, in terms of recovery, I think he'll realise as well, just do what he's been doing. Like, that mistake come from a bad decision that he hasn't made this season. So just don't make that. And I'm not trying to take the responsibility away from him, but I think that was down to him not wanting to put the goalkeeper under pressure. When I watched it back, I thought he could have gone back to the goalkeeper, and I think if that's Edison, he does. But the fact that Pope is not as comfortable, and you could see that in the pass that he received, I think he was trying to take the responsibility as leaders and defenders need to do, and it's cost him. But John Stones has been instrumental this season and arguably one of the best in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. In that partnership with Diaz, best central defensive partnership in the league, possibly Europe. They've been phenomenal. Looking at someone else in the defence that I think is really interesting today, Shaun, is obviously Benjamin Mendy starts. I'm still very much in the club of I think Benjamin Mendy is going to come good. I still believe that he has the talent and the ability to be the player that we saw at Monaco and we saw at the start of the time that he came here. Do you think that there's still a chance that we're going to see that? Are you happy to see him starting today?
Well, yeah. First of all, I think Pep's always said, everyone is going to be playing games. And again, Mendy's one of those that I think needs 7, 8, 9 games consecutive to get into his rhythm. It's very unlikely because of the number of games we got. So he comes in today, and for me, when I saw his best form when he comes to the club, he was bombing on that left side, and the balls he was putting in, I was just thinking, this is just a dream for a striker. And I think he got a little bit distracted. I think a little bit of off-field stuff got him distracted, but I think his game face is on now, and I think he wants to prove to people, listen, I'm here to stay, and this is the levels that I can produce. So I'm really hoping he puts in a good performance today and contributes as he normally does.
Same. I'm absolutely same. I'm happy to see him start, and I really want him to put in a solid performance and start nailing this place down for him. And then moving on, we mentioned as well Rodri and Fernandinho both starting today as well, both in that kind of typically playing that defensive midfield role. But how do you think it's going to work today with the two of them? Yeah,
I think they'll both sit in there. I think if you look at Mendy and Walker, they naturally get forward. So Mahrez coming inside, the fullbacks going high. It will mean there's still a box, there's still 4 players there defensively, and cleverly, Pep's probably may have instrumented this. It will allow Kevin De Bruyne to play a little bit higher and not have to recover as deep, which again saves his legs going into the fixtures we've got coming up in the next 2 weeks. So I see that the setup makes sense. They obviously like to play football as well, so it allows us to regain the ball and have a bit more security.
And talking about Pep, we'll hear what he has to say now.
Well, Pep, you did say that Sergio Aguero still had a big part to play. Why did you decide today you needed him from the start?
Like every game, we decide the best. Never any manager select 11 players to lose a game. So today we believe this is the best one for the international break, for the many things we saw this yesterday especially, and he trained really well this week, and yeah, he's fit, and we decide for him.
I was just going to ask, actually, what sort of reaction have you had from him since he learned he was leaving the club?
Exceptional as always.
What do you expect from Leicester today?
Top side, type of squad, a lot of quality, and a team where you let them play, he is able to play, incredible movements in behind, and quality team.
Have you re-watched the game at the Etihad? Does that inform how you go about it today?
No, because it was. I know exactly what they have done and what we have done, but it's a long time ago. And Kelechi didn't play in that game until they play, and they play 4 in the middle, maybe they play 3. They play 1 striker, maybe 2 today. But we know. We pay attention to the game against United, the last one. Normally I see the teams that play the last 1 or 2 games they play before we're playing against them.
So do you think they'll be different today, Leicester? They won't be maybe as deep as they were the last time you played?
I don't know. I think they can do both things. They can defend really, really deep, compact between the lines, and they can play high pressing and good to build up. We have a keeper as Michael, like he reads perfectly, playing with Vardy, not just with Vardy, wing backs, and playing in Tielemans in the positions in the middle, had this quality. Always they play good.
And lastly, generally with your team, if you just try to pick the freshest team you could after the internationals?
Yeah, today was one of the reasons. Sometimes it's not the reason. Every game is different, but today was the reason. International break always confuse everyone. Until you settle, always you need time. So always it's difficult. It's difficult both teams, of course, but in the position that we have in the table right now is a little bit risk if you are not in the right position. Look today, Chelsea. So didn't concede 1 goal in the last, I don't know, eternity. And today concede 5. Why? Of course, send off, but still you need at the end of the season, everyone is so tired, everyone is exhausted, and an international break change the rhythm for all the teams. Hopefully we can regain the rhythm as quick as possible.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Cheers.
And that's the thoughts of our manager, Pep Guardiola. And yes, hopefully we can get the rhythm back today in our game against Leicester. And we can take a look now at the Leicester starting 11. So in goal, they have Kasper Schmeichel. And then Fofana, Evans, Amati, and Ndidi, Albrighton, Tielemans, Castagna, Perez, Kelechi Iheanacho, and James Vardy. So that is your starting 11. And I have to admit, everybody, I'm dodging reading the subs out because I have no idea how you pronounce. Shaun, how were you saying we pronounce the Leicester player whose name we weren't sure? Suenchi Tuan. That's
Yeah, I agree.
7-1.
we were debating. You all know I'm the worst at pronunciations anyway, so that one's really got me. But that is your Leicester starting 11 for today. And of course, we can see there, Kelechi Iheanacho starts, the Premier League Player of the Month for March. 7 goals in the last 4 games. Of course, a former City player. Joleon, of course, you were here when he was here.
When he arrived, he arrived. Well, I think he was 16 at the time, and you could see he had talent. I remember him training with us, and you could just see he was excited, he was enthusiastic, he was probably doing things he probably shouldn't have. But again, you could just see that he was willing to work and improve, and now he's kind of changed his game. As I said, he's probably he has got a lot more ability than he's showing in the games. He's showing kind of just that natural instinct of being in the right place at the right time that obviously Shaun had. But in regards to his actual ability to go past players, he's got it. So I need to be wary of that if he gets 1v1.
We definitely saw hints of it when he was here, as Julian says, when he was a bit younger, but he seems to have just kept going and he's been getting better and better. And obviously, the form that he's in now, Shaun, he must be playing with so much confidence, which of course is so important for strikers.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a trust now. I think when he first went there, he probably felt within himself, I'm come from Man City, I'm a quality player, but he was up against James Vardy, and James Vardy was as normal, as always, on good form, scoring goals, consistent and regular. And so he probably didn't get the run of games as much as he liked. And I think now he's scoring the goals and they now see what he's about. So I think now there may be a little transition where we start to see him play a little bit more, because I think there's a belief in him now. And when you get that belief from the club, meaning both ways, you believe in your team and the team and the club essentially believe in you, you really start to produce that consistently. So I would like to think he'll play a lot more games now, because they can see what he's capable of doing when James Vardy's out, and that they can rely on him.
I think it's easy to forget because we've been blessed with so many amazing strikers in our club. He scored some really great goals when he was here. I think we're going to get to look at a few of the goals that he scored. Oh, that was a nice poacher's one there, Shaun.
We take those ones every day, the off the the rebound ones. But again, he has an eye for goal. He knows where to be. Given that half a chance with that left foot, he knows. Those are the ones right there. Those are the ones you even like as well, and Julian.
Oh, yeah, even I could finish that. But no, the skill is in the positioning. Shaun know better than me. Like, a lot of fans, people look at that and think, I could have put that away, but the art is in where to be and where to be and how to stand and how to prepare yourself for that chance, because there's a lot of times they come and no one's there and the defender clears it, but the skill is being there at the right time.
Of course, with him and James Vardy also starting today. Vardy, who seems to score a lot of goals against us defensively. We're really going to have to be on it today. Yeah,
definitely. I'm sure Pep's obviously tried to educate the back line and say that we can't leave too much space, because if you do, I don't even think Kyle Walker recovers against Jamie Vardy. He plays on the last man on the shoulder, and you've been in for a game, physically, concentration as well, mentally. You're fatigued when you come off the game because he's constantly pushing you back. He's constantly working out of possession and trying to make it difficult for you. Even if he doesn't score, it's still tough. But if he doesn't have a touch for 89 minutes, that last moment, he can score and win them the game.
Of course, he scored a few times against us earlier this season. Let's take a look back at that game. So it was Sunday the 27th of September, and it was here. And of course, the result was 5-2 to Leicester. And looking back now, it seems like a different season ago, because we've obviously gone on that ridiculous run ever since. We've lost just 2 of our 43 games that we've played since this game. And looking back now, this game just, like I say, it feels like it was a different season. What's changed, Joleon, between that and now?
Results have changed. But no, I don't know. I think there was a tweak around this time. I think it was the same sort of time that we lost to Spurs. But in the greatest respect to the team that played in, centre-half partnership there is Nathan Ake and Garcia. Since then, Stones and Diaz have played together, and we've talked at the top of the show that they've arguably been the best partnership in Europe. So that is a key element to it. But also, I think there's been tweaks from Pep and the formation. I think he's realised that you have to defend in different ways. We attack in different ways against opposition that sit back and want to be expansive. And I think he's realised that you have to defend in different ways against teams that want to have the space and want you to run in behind. And as I said, there's no better player running in behind than Jamie Vardy.
3 penalties that day as well. I remember I was here for that game and I was gutted. But a highlight from it was still that Mahrez goal, Shaun. Oh, what a finish!
Yes, that right foot strike was clean. I mean, sometimes when you see a ball fall to a player on his opposite foot, you're thinking, go on, strike it. And I'm thinking, that's
what they're thinking.
That's his thinking. Go on, strike it, because we're thinking it's going to go high, it's going to be wide. I mean, it's going. It couldn't go any closer to the top corner. I mean, this is just absolutely sweet. Yeah. Schmeichel has absolutely no chance. The defenders, they can't get close to him. It's absolutely beautiful. If that ball drops, you drop that ball 10 times. I don't think he can get it any closer to that top corner. No. That is absolutely sweet. And this is what Mahrez gives us. He gives us this quality, I love seeing him because, again, what he brings, his quality with crossing, his quality to beat a player. It isn't just an ordinary going across a player. He actually lies players down. He's like, sit down, I'll come back and get you in a couple of minutes. And then the delivery is just sweet. It's just, you just thinking, I'm sitting there thinking, I'd love to be there, because it's just get in that area and you've got yourself a goal. And that's the quality that he possesses.
What's it like to score a worldie in a game where you get beaten? Because obviously you're made up because you've scored a worldie, but everybody else is gutted.
Well, worldies, I don't know. Well, if you can get a worldie from about 5 or 6 yards, then yeah, I've scored a couple of them. Yeah, you know, when you score a good goal and you lose, you do feel you can't celebrate it because you're like we've lost. It's all in vain. But strikers do have a little something inside them, even though they've lost.
100%. They need that. They need that because even if when they win and they don't score. Yeah. They have that, and that's what you need. And we know we're going to talk about him, but that is what Sergio has. That is that mentality, that different mentality of different to Jesus. Jesus wants the team to win and do well. Sergio wants that, but he wants to score. And there's going to be games when you just need your striker. I need you to be selfish today and just score the goals, and that's what he brings.
Yeah,
I think that's, do you know what? I know what that says about me, because Sergio Aguero and Shaun are my favourite players of all time. And it is the selfishness about it that I like. It's the out and out ultimate wanting to score goals.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it.
It is. And, you know, we're probably nightmares to live with because of their selfishness.
Live with. I haven't lived with either of them. Play with is fine. It's fine. I can play with either of them.
Yeah, but only feel there is, you know, there are times when I remember, you know, I think back and thinking, we're not playing well. And it's like, well, can I get a chance in the last 5 minutes and to be able to do what I'm on the field to do? There's a game when we're winning 5-0, I haven't scored. Can I get on the score sheet? You know, there's a game when we're getting hammered. And it's like, well, can I just get a goal? And that could bring my performance from being a 5 to a 6. So this is how we think. So even when a situation where we've lost the game, we still try to find a way that we can win, which is, well, if I scored a goal, I haven't had a 5 performance, I've had a 6. You know, and the team's lost. But that's how we look at it, yeah.
We love it as fans. We absolutely love that ruthlessness about it. Looking at the Leicester team again, Tielemans obviously sticks out there, partly because, of course, Pep mentioned him this week. Have you seen much of him this season? What can you tell us about him, Joleon?
Yeah, he's very accomplished, technically, obviously very good, hence why Pep's recognised him and his talents, but very consistent for me, similar to Gundogan in terms of how efficient he is. He can do a number of roles. Obviously, doesn't play as high and score as many goals, but in the role he plays for that team, is instrumental. He's willing to do some of the so-called dirty work to win it back, but he's the link they need between like the back line and then the high line. He gets it off the back 4, back 3 in tight positions and able to turn and put it through to Maddison, and that's how we receive a lot of balls. But lately he's been playing a little bit higher due to Maddison being out of the team. He's playing a little bit higher and he can contribute up there as well. So someone that's very talented and obviously instrumental for Leicester and for Belgium.
Yeah, and they've got threats. Obviously, that's the reason why they're third in the league. You know, they've got threats all over the pitch. Yeah,
they're efficient, as I said, and arguably one of their best players, Harvey Barnes, is missing. And it kind of hasn't damaged them too much. Yes, there would be a better team, in my opinion, with him in there, but they're still efficient. So it's credit to Brendan, Colo as well, good friend. Obviously, they've got a style and identity that suits their players.
Is Colo there?
Yeah, Colo's assistant. Yeah, he's been with him since Celtic. So yeah, but again, obviously they have a great understanding of how to get the best out of their players, and it works.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's awesome. I loved Colo. He was such whenever he's to interview me, he seemed like such a nice man.
Yeah, he is such a nice guy, Colo. Just a credit to be around. Just happy to be in an footballing environment. You could see how much it meant to him and how much he enjoyed the process of training and playing. And yeah, just a great guy, to be fair.
You see, he was a student. You can see he was a student when he played and taking the information in. A leader at centre back. Yeah, he's just a quality player.
Yeah, just to talk on that leadership, because that's the thing. Like, people assume Vinny was the leader at the end, that he was at the start. But we had people like Colo, that was part of the Invincibles, that was Arsenal captain, came to us. We had like Gareth Barry, Nigel de Jong, David Silva, Carlos Tevez. And then, so these are the leaders that contribute to Vinny being the figure that he is, because at the start of his reign at the club, he had them players to look at and be like, yeah, this is how they conduct themselves. And so, yeah, they deserve a lot of credit for that.
Have I ever told you about the hugely embarrassing time when I accidentally hugged Kolo Touré after an interview?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it another when everybody's not watching.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, it still makes me cringe now. Accidentally hugged Kolo Touré after an interview. Yeah,
I don't know if I've ever accidentally hugged anyone, to be fair.
You know when someone does that and you think, oh, they're going to hug me. No, they were just walking past you and I just sort of hug. Oh, I was mortified.
Love it. You
Absolutely.
went in.
I went in, Shaun, and he wasn't
Wow.
having it. He didn't want to hug the girl in the tunnel. Yeah, I don't blame him. But yeah, while I just get rid of that cringe and try and bring myself down, here we go with a little interview from Aymeric Laporte.
Aymeric, of course, you'd love to be off representing your country, but the fact that you're not, does that mean you go into today with a couple of weeks break behind you, feeling nice and fresh?
Yeah, some players didn't travel because of many things, COVID, for example, and they didn't play with the national team. So we have many players fresh, and yeah, today is a good game to play, and I think we are ready. Obviously, is always difficult when you stop like that and you go with your country and etc. You lose a little bit team, but yeah, we are ready.
As a defender with, say, Vardy and Iheanacho, in what ways do Leicester test you?
Yeah, it's a test. Yeah, every game is a test. I think today is another one. We have to compete how we have done the last month. I think we have done very well, and yeah, hopefully today we can win and we can do our best.
Does it feel like a different phase of the season now? Does it feel like the run-in?
Yeah, it's the final run. I think is is the second part or third part of the season, and we have to face that final like a big season, because we have many things in front of us.
Have a good game. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that is the thoughts of Aymeric Laporte ahead of today's 5:30 kickoff against Leicester. Of course, first plays third today, so a big game ahead, an exciting game ahead as well. So now it's the point. Get your tissues out, everybody. We need to address this. We need to talk about the man. Because he is, and he always has been, a true Manchester City legend. It is, of course, Sergio Aguero. And there he is. I don't know, is that having a dance? I'm not sure, but I love it. Look at him. So he is the man who has scored the Premier League's most famous goal. The man who scored more Premier League goals than any other overseas player. He's been doing this for a decade, sustained it, consistently scoring goals for 10 years. To be exact, it is 257 goals, 181 in the Premier League, 12 hat-tricks in the Premier League. He has a strike rate of 1 goal in every 108 minutes. When you compare that to sort of Kane, who's at 122, or Salah at 129, it just further emphasises how amazing he is. I love him. I'm genuinely gutted. I knew it was going to happen. We all knew he was going to leave one day. I just didn't want it to be this day, any day soon. I wanted him to stay forever. So we were asked to name our favourite Sergio Aguero moments. And it's hard because there's so many of them. There's so many magical moments. But Shaun, you went first. So what was your favourite moment that you picked? Of course, you had loads. What was your favourite one?
I did have loads, and I have to just make it clear. Julian had chosen the one that we all wanted to choose. But he scored a goal, was one against Leicester. He's gotten the ball out of his feet. And the reason why I admire this goal is because Kasper Schmeichel is such a good goalkeeper. And he's middle of the goal, and he strikes his ball, and you can't blame Schmeichel where he is. And it just goes over him, hits the crossbar, hits the line, over the line, back up, roof of the net. The strike is absolutely phenomenal. Nothing Schmeichel could do, really. He jumps out of reach, and he's only about 4 yards off his line. And that strike, and the reason I admire that is because I couldn't strike a ball, I couldn't score goals like that. My career I probably had about 2. We start to see Sergio's goals. He's got a video of goals like that, and he's just phenomenal. He scores every type of goal, which is what I really like about him. Another goal that stands out, I don't know if we have this one, but against Liverpool, and it's on an acute angle. And sometimes the easiest goals are the ones where you're just instinctive. But he takes this particular one on. Yes, he takes this particular one on, and the angle.
That doesn't do it justice, that angle.
Yeah.
That doesn't do it justice. That is so close to the post. Like, I remember watching that. I think I don't know if I was playing, but that goal, like, he takes a touch and it's any later, it's wide. It just hits the post. He cannot shoot any later than he shoots.
And that's exactly my point. If a fraction of a second longer, that chance is not a chance. And so the calculations that he's doing whilst going around the keeper, that the goal is at this sort of distance, this is how much of an angle I've got. All these calculations is happening at a split time. And he's going for it and puts it in. I'm sitting there thinking, when I look at that and I put myself in that position, I touch the ball across the keeper. The next thing I think is fake to shoot, to chop it back on my left foot. And at that point, some players are on the line. They perhaps got one or two other players back. But Sergio has taken it. And that is just world class. It really is.
And it was such a big game as well, which obviously he's really thrived on over the years, scoring in
like multiple games against Liverpool. The one a couple of seasons ago when he took a touch round, I don't know who it was, I think it was Lovren, and he's just touched it and it's roof of the net and it was so fast. I'm saying that's that mentality. That's like, a lot of players have ability, but their instinctiveness and the capabilities to just do it in massive games, like nothing fazed him. Nothing.
Now, my favourite moment outside of goals, which of course is what Sergio Aguero is all about, it's this moment, and I think that you'll all remember it. It was a wash across social media, and in this exact moment, this little boy is all of us. Don't pretend you wouldn't have tried the same thing if this was you. So that's Anthony Knockaert for Brighton, and that is his son. Yes, I love it so much. He's got a chance. He's gone in for it. And for me, it's the way Sergio reacts as well. He's just like, he gives him a little smile and he's so gracious about it. And to me, he's come across in his time as a really humble, easygoing, nice man. Is he like that in real life,
That's exactly
Joleon?
what he is. He's so, like, the first clip there we've seen of him dancing, that's literally him all the time. Like, he just enjoys it. I've never met someone that enjoys what they do as much as him. And again, he came when his English wasn't great, but he just embraced everything. He just kind of grew into the culture, and whoever they get won't be able to recreate what he's done, because the club wasn't at the stage they're at now. Like, they're at the top and they're the biggest club arguably one of the biggest in Europe, the biggest club in England. That wasn't the case when he arrived. Like, it was still relatively new. We were still trying to get to that stage, and he just come and said, cool, I'll do it. I'll play my part, and consistently played his part, never asked for any credit, any plaudits, and just went about his business and just accepted that was his role for the club and for the team. And the only times I've seen him or heard him get, like, not frustrated was a period when Suarez was getting more credit, and it was like, okay, I need to score 2 today because I know Suarez is going to score 2. And I was like, pfft. And we'd just go out and he would score 2 and he would just do it. And then for like a few weeks, he would just say, okay, who are Liverpool playing? Suarez is doing that. I need to do this. And it just took us to a level. And like Shaun said, we just do our job because he's going to do his job. We just know we need not to mess up because we'll win the game if he scores.
Love that.
The one thing I mean, when I think about him, what I like is you don't ever hear anything negative about him. And even when he was fit in the last few weeks, and you would have thought he could come out and go, I want to be playing, I should be playing, or something like that. He just keeps himself quiet. He's just fit and saying, I'm available. And this is what I love and respect. Again, you don't hear anything negative about him off the field. He obviously is just a quiet guy at home, family guy, comes to work, does his bit, and you don't hear any of that nonsense off the field. He's just like the top professional. This is what I really respect and love about him as well.
Absolutely. I have never met him in my 10 years that I've worked for City. I've never met him.
Shame.
I've mentioned it a few times in the last few days,
Yeah. I've met him enough. I've met him enough for the both of us. Don't worry.
Man, the daggers that are going on here right now. So, what was your favourite moment, Julian? And Sean's probably hinted to it.
Yes, I think it was obvious. And we obviously watched it, and every time I do watch it, it still gives me a little tingle. And I think every City fan that was at the stadium, even if you weren't, it's still a special moment. And arguably, probably the one time he came short to receive the ball, but then he finds himself in that position. And honestly, there's no one else I would ever want to be in that position. Just like, even when I see it then, he's so calm in the touch, in the strike, and we've seen it after that, so you know that was him. But in that moment, that was the first, obviously, real time when you've seen him do that finish, take a touch, and then just go near post. But that was him. That was just him. It like he's been here before. I've been in this scenario many a times. I know what to do. This is how I do it. And you only see the kind of erratic, like Sergio after. But in the moment that you need him to be the most calm, that's when he is.
I mean, this is what the best. They get calm, they get cold, ice cold when they're in their situations. And you're absolutely right. That is him. Everyone else is probably, panicking but he's just like, this is what I do. Finishes that off. And I remember I was in Bermuda. I was getting absolutely mental.
We went mental here as well. It was crazy. And again, the credit to him as a person, it wasn't someone that thought, I've done that. No one's ever going to do that. Like, well, let's be honest, that moment's never going to happen again. And he never kind of let anyone think, I'm that guy. He was just like, well, that's what you brought me here to do, and that's what I'm meant to do. And then the next season, he just continued to do what he was supposed to be doing. And as I said, that's a credit to him.
That goal, as you said, it still gives you goosebumps. It still brings those memories. I was lucky enough to be here in the ground watching it. And I think as well, it's good to remember the entire occasion, what it meant the first time we'd won the league, the fact that we were going to pip United to it, the fact that it was the last seconds of the game, the tension in the ground. Could you feel it on the pitch?
No, not really. No, we couldn't really. But as I said, it's not going to be replicated. I don't care what we achieve. It was the first one. It was against Man United. Like, it's just all the factors played into it being such a big occasion. And as I said, like, it wasn't a case of where we came and the tension was higher than usual. We just assumed we were going to win that game, not like go out there and blow them out the water. It was just like, we need to win our game. We were in control of the situation, and we'd earned the right to be there in the fixtures leading up to that. But players like that are built for the moments.
And of course, it was his first season as well. We signed him at the start of the season. Obviously, he'd come in with a bang in that game against Swansea, where he'd come off the bench, scored 2 goals, and we were like, okay.
Yeah, because he was on the bench against United in the Charity Shield, and I think he was due to come on late in that game, and he was like, no, but the build-up, he'd only been at the club 8-9 days prior to Swansea. Like, I remember him coming, we was in Ireland, and he came, and he joined in a training session. He went past Vinny, then he went past me, and Vinny got back, and he shot over the bar, and we looked at each other to say, okay, there's a little bit different, but he made us realise. And then he stopped kind of doing them things and just was a killer. Just literally, any time it was around the box in training, any kind of half mistake you made, you were punished, because that's what he lives for. And that is like, players are born to do certain things, and he was born to score, 100%.
I mean, we just see him walking around there. I mean, his body language looks as though he's like, don't judge a book by its cover. Because his body language looks like, don't look too bothered. But that boy is a beast when it comes to goals and the game. I'm looking at him and just thinking, he's relaxed, he's calm. But when he gets himself in and around that box with opportunity, he will hurt you. I just want to say, look, I'm going to look down the camera for this one. Yo, Sergio. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, the guy's just been phenomenal. He really has. I had to take a couple of days because I couldn't respond, on social media, anything. Yeah. I was just like,
I got asked to do a few interviews. I was like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
And I spoke to Sergio, and he was obviously upset and stuff like that. So, as I said, it's like, we all knew it was coming.
Yeah.
But when it comes, it doesn't make it any easier.
No.
You know what I mean? It's like David Silva and that, when they're leaving Vinny and that, they're leaving, but it's still not easy to take. And Sergio, again, like I've said, I honestly don't care what the club achieve or what anyone else comes to do. He will ever be that guy forever.
Yeah, this is the first time I've spoken about it since. Yeah. It's been about 5 days or so. I've not spoken about it because for me, I was just like, this guy is absolutely phenomenal. His ratio of goals, has taken us to another level, season after season. Is a humble guy. And I was just like, no, I just can't. I just need some time to really, because being a striker, I appreciate what a striker, and he just took it a few levels.
I was putting my son to bed, and he was dragging his feet a little bit, as they do sometimes. And then I got him into bed, and I came out about 8:15, and I went to pick my phone up, and I was like, whoa, I've got a lot of messages and phone calls there. Like, what's happened? And then I opened it and was just genuinely sort of taken aback and had to sit down and like you say, we knew it was coming, but it doesn't make it any easier. Because I think what it's easy to forget as well, Shaun, is that we talk a lot about 93-20, obviously, in his first year. There's been 9 years after that.
That's what I mean.
And he's done it every year.
Like, we were talking about David Silva, like, I don't remember the period, really, when I'm saying, Sergio, man, you've gone through a barren spell. Like, you need to fix up. You need to do more. Like, there's never a time when I'm thinking you need to do more, ever, in his whole time at the club. So, special player.
And of course, we could talk about this for hours. We probably will during the game as well. And it's a joy to talk. It's a joy to watch him. And if you want to sort of share that joy, City Plus and our social media channels are the best place to engage all about Aguero and the memories and everything about him. And of course, the City Plus team have done another incredible documentary. It's called Made in Argentina, and it's all about Sergio. If you're going to watch it, get the tissues ready, I'm telling you.
Los sábados se juega Independiente y los domingos íbamos y jugamos en un equipo de barrio. Y él, al ser tan crack, lo poníamos al arco. No jugaba de delantero.
Se produce entonces un hecho histórico en el fútbol argentino. Un chico de 15 años recién cumplidos en primera división.
Un domingo teníamos un partido difícil y estaba duro, estaba empatado el partido. Y mi papá le grita a Sergio de la tribuna, le decía Rottweiler.
Miraba de Argentina al Atlético, la verdad que me gustaba, un club grande y bueno, espero dar lo mejor para el club.
Bueno, dispara, bueno, gol. Gol.
Y le grita Rottweiler, si haces un gol te compro un sándwich de vacío, le grita, de asado. Y agarró la pelota en el arco de arquero y metió todo el equipo y hizo un gol.
Aguero, no puede evitar y Aguero, él encara, iba Aguero que quiere su gol, Aguero en el área, es un golazo Aguero,
Lo miraba a mi papá, le pedía el sándwich. Nada, fue increíble.
So that's Made in Argentina, and you can watch that now on City Plus, along with a whole host of amazing other documentaries, including one about our very own Shaun Goater as well. Now, we'd also like you to join in with us in choosing your favourite Sergio Aguero moment. Of course, most people, it's 93-20, but come on, let's think outside the box. What's your other special Sergio Aguero moments? We want you to share them with us. So send us a little tweet and use the hashtag WNRH. And also tell us wherever you're watching, because we know that people watch in Manchester, we know people watch in Mumbai. Wherever you are watching around the world, welcome, we love you, thank you for joining us. Share your Sergio Aguero moments with us, and we will read out some of the best ones at half-time and at full-time as well. So, dry the eyes, let's keep going. We've got a game ahead now, from one legend to another. Kevin De Bruyne has been answering some quick-fire questions this week.
Summer. Here comes KDB, and shot finds its way in.
Who was your City debut against?
Crystal Palace away.
And what was the score?
1-0, Kelechi.
Will make his Manchester City debut with Sergio Aguero going off.
What was your first goal for City?
The game after West Ham.
De Bruyne sets up a shot and scores his first goal
What was the first trophy you won for City?
League Cup against Liverpool.
Manchester City, winners of the Capital Cup 1 Cup for 2016.
What did you think during your first training session?
Well, I need to do well here. It's a good team. There's a lot of pressure.
Who was the first player you met at City?
Probably Vinny.
What's the best goal you've seen from another City player?
Well, I wasn't here for Sergio's goal in for the first title. So the one that I would say is Vinny's goal against Leicester.
Perhaps we'll have a shot here as a dig! And how about that?
Football or cricket?
Don't even ask me that.
The summer. Here comes KDB. That shot finds its way in. City open the scoring just 11 minutes in.
That is Kevin De Bruyne, who had a smashing international break as well. If you saw any of these performances for Belgium, particularly in the first game, he absolutely ruled the game. Belgium are looking insane. Now, somebody else who's been insane lately. If I say to you, City have already won a Premier League, you might say to me, Natalie, calm down. There's still a few games to go. But I'm talking about the Premier League, because Manchester City FIFA player Shells went and won the 2021 Premier League after a tense grand finale. Now, I don't know very much about this, but it's okay because Joleon does. He's way more trendy than me. Joleon, can you tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, it's huge. Obviously, the Premier League is a competition that the Premier League have with one representative or a couple of representatives from each team. And they go on in a tournament, and Shells has been a rep of City for a few years now, and I know him reasonably well in competitions. I've done some work in that space, and I know how tense he gets in that environment when you are there. So the format the competition was held in this year, and him being in his room and being more relaxed has probably played into his hands more than others, and it's led to him to being the champion. And it's a massive achievement, because these guys are they don't just play computer for the sake of it. It's like it's a career. It's like a real dedication, and they put in a lot of hours. So when we're looking at it and saying, yeah, but it's just online, it's just on computer. No, it's a real career path for these individuals. And they put a lot of hard work in.
Because he gets nervous and stuff. What's that build up like? Do they have like psychologists and all that?
They do, because again, obviously, there's a lot of things that go into it. Like anything that you spend so long doing and so hard working at, it can be intense. And as I said, people perform in different ways at different times. And as I said, Shells is one that great in the build up, gets to the stage and probably gets a little bit more frustrated with himself than he should do and other competitors, and then that could be the edge in a game. And as I said, he's worked a lot over the last few years, and now he's reaping the benefits from that.
So he won the first leg 4-2. He was playing against Leeds United's Ollie Arbin. He took the second leg 3-1, making the final tie score at 5-all, which took it to extra time, which finished 6-all, and then they went to penners, and here we can see the winning penalty from Shells.
You can just see how emotional he is. I think he cries. I think he starts crying. Like, as I said, it's massive, and it's big prize money in these as well.
20k he won.
Yeah. There's big prize money, and that's not, in the greatest respect, that's one of the smaller ones. Like, there's the national ones that these guys play in, and as I said, there's a lot of hard work that goes into that. It doesn't just mean he's in his room just messing about. He's working hard, so credit to Shells.
So shout out to Shells there. Congratulations, and thank you for representing us so well. Hopefully you are starting the influx of trophies that are coming our way. Now, we're quickly going to have a little look back in a very special vault today. I love it when we look back at the vaults, and especially when we have players on the sofa with us who were in these vaults. Now, this one is a good one, I promise you. So we're going back to April 2001. Do you think you know what game we're talking about, Shaun?
I do. It was just around the corner. It's like yesterday.
Of course, it's a game against Leicester, and we can see some memorable faces, of course, in this team as well. And you score in this game, Shaun. So we'll have a little look. Now, what I'm noticing, Shaun, here is that's Haaland there coming out, captaining the team. I'm just saying,
the original Haaland.
The original. Yeah, put a phone call in, Shaun. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
And then here's all your teammates coming out. Who stands out for you there that you remember?
A couple of my teammates in there as well.
Who stands up?
Really?
Yeah, we're going back there. Yeah, Haaland as the gaffer there. We're going back. Dickoff played that game as well.
Who for?
There we go. There you go.
Who was Dickoff for? Oh, here we go. VAR sending you off nowadays.
Pressing from the front.
Well, from behind that was, sure. That was from behind.
Well, we didn't have 70% of possession then.
Great tackle, Shaun. Great tackle for me, that.
Yeah.
And I love Joe Royal.
Said, that's what I bought him to do.
Yeah.
Hey?
I love Joe Royal's little smirk there.
Yes, I remember this. Kennedy. He used to put in some brilliant balls. That one seemed to have a bit of snow on it. Hey,
you just made it yours.
Yes,
you just made it yours.
You see, the no-look pass. Now you're seeing the no-look goal. I've taken it to another level. Have a look here, kids.
The originator.
The no-look goal.
Oh, wow.
Hey, I didn't even realize it goes in until my teammates to celebrate. Then I went, it's a goal. I'll take that.
They all count, Shaun. They all count.
Yes,
just as important as that.
That's it.
Yeah, not as glamorous, but just as important.
But I'm Paulo One Chop's a really good girl, but the no-look girl, I think that just tops it.
It's a harder skill.
That's what I'm saying.
Sergio hasn't got one of them.
He ain't got one of them, Sergio. Talk to me, Sergio, baby.
Somebody needs to let Sergio know, and I reckon he'll score one off the back of his head
he will
before he leaves.
Yeah.
So, of course, we won 2-0 that day. 2-1, sorry, and it was the 14th of April, 2001. So nearly bang on 20 years ago.
Yeah, I was there.
And look at that.
I was just starting my career then.
That was me inside the box, looking to sniff anything. Yeah, that was some. We went on to do pretty well. Yeah, Leicester good. Tim Flower was the goalkeeper, and the reason I remember, being a kid from Bermuda. Any England goalkeeper, I was like, I wouldn't score against them because that was like Bermuda scoring against England. I had all these little mind things, to motivate me. So yeah, that was a absolute no-look goal from the goat against England. That's how I looked at it for myself.
The goat against
Bermuda 1, England 0.
Yes, absolutely love it, Shaun. Love it. And of course, I'm sure that you love it again wherever you are in the world. I hope that you enjoyed that. Love you, Shaun. Love you so much. Right, and we know, of course, as I say, you might be in Manchester, you might be in Mumbai. We can pretty much drop a pin anywhere in the world these days and know that there will be City fans. And we love it, and we love celebrating all of our official supporters clubs that we have all around the world. And today, we dropped a pin in Nagpur, India, and our blue, Harsh Gadraki, and I apologise if that was wrong, is going to tell us a little bit about the supporters club.
Hey, it's Harsh here from the Nagpur City official supporters brand. I'm from Nagpur and I have been supporting Manchester City since the 2016-17 season. Our branch usually meets to watch City at our branch admin's residence. An interesting fact about our branch is that we engaged in a lot of community service like menstrual awareness programs and COVID safety awareness campaigns. Also, we have grown from 20 members initially to over 90 members from 2019. My special moment with City is the Winnie Don't Shoot movement, as out of nowhere when we needed a goal desperately, the captain came up with a banging rocket even though our star striker Aguero was saying don't shoot. That won us the league second time in a row, and it being company's last season, it became even more emotional for me. Thank you. Back to the studio.
Thank you so much, Harsh, and thank you to everybody in Nagpur, India, for your support. We love you all. Now, we're going to have a quick recap on the team for anybody that is just joining us and hasn't seen it as of yet. So this is your starting 11 for City for today's game. Kick off in about 8 minutes at the King Power today. So our starting 11 is Edison, Walker, Diaz, Laporte, Mendy, Rodri, Fernandinho, De Bruyne, Mahrez, Jesus and Aguero. And the starting 11 for Leicester: Schmeichel, Fofana, Evans, Amati, Ndidi, Albrighton, Tielemans, Castagna, Perez, Iheanacho and Vardy. So that is your 2 starting 11s for today's game. And as I say, we think maybe 7-8 minutes away from kickoff. So thank you for joining us today. Now on to what you're all really here for. We know already how much you love it. I love it. It is Guess the Blue, our mystery blue section of the show, where we take a player from the past, we give it a little bit of a blur, and we ask you to guess. So have a look at this and send in your guesses, tweet us and use the hashtag WNRH. And you'll know by now that after we took the mick out of producer Tom a few games ago, he's really ramped it up and started making it a lot more difficult. Previously, you should get it in about 2 seconds. Now, who knows? So let's take a look at this one and see what you think. Mystery Blue now sponsored by Cadbury's. We've got an Easter theme there with an Easter egg and a bunny's head. Now, what I'm getting from this is that it's the brother shirt. Now, that was the shirt we had when I started supporting City. So that's like 93.
Nah.
So
yeah, I was.
Is that a bit young for you?
Yeah, I was 11.
Right.
Young whippersnapper.
Yeah.
I was 12.
Yeah. Years older than me.
Sean, any guesses?
Yeah, that I'm gonna guess and think. I'm thinking that Juve Rustler. I always just think when I see that brother shirt, that's who I think of. Juve Rustler.
I'm the same. King Clancy as well. I think of that. Yeah, I think of him.
I think that guy's definitely a bit taller.
Yeah. I'll say Niall Quinn.
The names that come to my head when I see that shirt is both of those.
Yeah.
And then I think of Kit Simons, who was captain at the
Simons,
time. So, but who knows? I think it's a tough one, this one. So let us know, who do you think it is? Hashtag WNRH. We will read the best ones out at half time. We'll show you it again. And then at full time, we'll tell you who it is. And by the way, I always get loads of tweets or Instagram messages after a game saying, who was it? You got to watch it full time and we'll tell you who it is at full time. So we've got about 5 minutes now until kickoff. So let's just have a little overall little feeling. How are we feeling about the game today, Sean? What are you thinking?
Yeah, we haven't really did a prediction, but I'm thinking somewhere between 2-1 and 3-1. So what does that tell me?
2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2.5, 1.
2.5. 2.5 to 1. I'm gonna go 3-1 to City. I think we're not gonna keep the clean sheet, but I'm gonna go 3-1 to City.
Sergio might get on the score sheet.
Wow, yes. Because he's starting, I like to think Sergio will get 1 or 2 opportunities, and Sergio very rarely lets us down. So I'd like to think Sergio will just do what Sergio does.
What are you thinking about the game today, Joleon?
Yeah, I'm thinking it'll be tight. Both teams like to have possession, so that's going to be the interesting part for me, who dominates that. But like Shaun, I predict a City win. I'm still not surprised by any result, to be honest. If they win 2-1, 4-0, like, as I said, no result surprises me. I would say 3-1. Hopefully Sergio gets a hat-trick. I'm going to be greedy. But yeah, if he scores any kind of goal, I'm just happy.
So the gents are both going 3-1. I always like to be different. I'm going to say 2-1, but then I feel like that's a bit negative. But it's a win, isn't it?
Negative. It's not negative. Yeah. 2-1s is get the same points. Yeah. Get the same points. We don't need goals. We need points.
Yeah.
We'll take the 3 points. I'll go for 2-1. So 3-1 and 2-1 here in the studio. Thank you so much for joining us for today's We're Not Really Here. We will be back at half time for some instant analysis. Hopefully we'll be talking about some City goals, and then we will be back at full time as well for that instant post-match analysis. And we'll start looking forward then to the Tuesday night's massive game in the Champions League. So the players are in the tunnel. They're about to walk out. If you are not watching live on TV, if you don't have access to it, then I can highly recommend listening to the commentary live on the Manchester City app by the wonderful Alistair Mann. He is a massive City fan, so it is the best place you can get your commentary. We'll see you at half time.